Well, a very warm welcome there where you're watching us from. This is the Morning Call, and Malian lawmakers passed a bill that would allow for the review of the country's February 1992 constitution in a bid to allow and pave way for institutional and governmental reforms. Now, if effected, the changes to the two-decade-long constitution will allow for the establishment of a Senate, the adoption of reforms agreed to in a peace accord, and larger powers for the president to appoint senior officials. Campaigners for the referendum have already been given the green light and will start wooing the masses as of June 23rd.
The convening of this referendum comes at a time when the international community is increasingly expressing its impatience with the signatories of the peace agreement, including the government, in the face of the delays in its implementation. Among the provisions of the agreement which must be incorporated into the constitution is the creation in the 5 administrative regions of the north of assemblies endowed with important powers elected by the population. The previous election in Mali, the municipal elections, had to be postponed several times and were finally held in November 2016 on only part of the territory because of the violence, in particular in the northern part of the country.
And we have on a line right now Kone Dramane Aliu, who is our journalist in Bamako. He's been following this for us. Good morning, Kone. What justifies the constitutional referendum in Mali right now?
According to the idea of the government, which initiated these considerable efforts, it refers to a second clearing of the text to take into account the agreement that was signed with the armed movements. This also refers to the rewriting of the basic law to take into account the decisions that have been made over the 26 years by democratic parties in this country. On the side of the opposition, it is thought that the revision of the constitution is not appropriate because, on the one hand, Mali is not completely free on its territory. According to an article of the Constitution which is in force, when a part of the national territory is occupied, any kind of constitutional reform is prohibited. And this is what is causing the debate today here in Bamako.
Now, Kone, is it just, you're talking about the opposition, but is it just a part of the opposition that opposes this referendum?
It is the whole of the opposition and a part of the civil society that opposes this constitutional referendum. These different parties believe that, given the country's current situation, it is not appropriate to hold a constitutional referendum. Moreover, there are parts of the draft constitution which they believe are only reinforcing the power of the President of the Republic and weakening the role of the National Assembly and the opposition, because all the power is concentrated in the hands of a single man.
And lastly, Kone, what can be or will be retained in this current constitution? We know after the referendum a lot of things will change, but is it that bad that it will all change? What can be retained?
The constitution that is in force is not bad in either way. Unfortunately, it is in the application that there is dishonesty, in our opinion. We fear above all to have at the head of state a man too strong who has all the powers to keep himself in power.
Well, thank you very much, Kone, for joining us. The line was a little bit off, but thank you for giving us what's happening in Mali.